Hello everyone. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. And I'm so glad you stopped by. It seems like a long time, but Jay just kind of lost a little mojo a little bit. You know, once you finish a video, it's really like, okay, the baby's out now. I just want to sit down a minute. I don't want to think. I don't want to process anything. But as usual, I'm back. I'm back, and I've been knitting up a storm. And I hope you have been knitting or crocheting as well. I hope you're doing great. Hope things are going great for you. But we're here together now, and we're going to have a little fellowship, a little fun, and of course, we're going to have some knitting, and I hope you like it. Well, I haven't done a whole lot. You know, like I said, I just had like my mojo kind of, like my balloon just, oh me. Last month, my computer went out. Had to get another computer. It was Jay's fault. Okay, it goes like this. For a year, Google Chrome has been telling me, with big flashing banners, your computer, you know, my computer is real old, we will no longer be supporting this computer. You know, read more information, you know. I just refuse to believe it. So every time that big yellow banner would come across, I pretend like I didn't see it. It said again, your computer, Google Chrome, will no longer be supporting this computer. I just thought they wanted me to buy something. Okay. So then one day I went to sit down and pull up some of my regular, you know, things I look at or sites or whatever. Bingo. They cut Jay off. Well, my computer was really old, like I say. I bought my computer back in the day when, about the time Ravelry was really coming in. I'll tell you my Ravelry stories at another time. But so you can see how old it really was. And I bought it especially because someone had showed me about this site called Ravelry. And they started bringing us patterns, you know, when I was in knit groups, you know, to download the free ones, you know. So they'd bring them and they'd say, oh, I brought y'all patterns from that Ravelry. You got to go on there and look. And I said, oh, I don't have a computer, you know. So that's when I decided to just, you know, what am I saving my money for? Hey, Jay just went and got her a computer. Well, at the time, it was, you know, it was just fine. It was new. It was brand new, and got it at Best Buy, got a good deal, and all the perks that went along with it. But in today's age, you know, just like iPhones or whatever, you know, the technology is just ramping up. So, you know, they want you to just keep ramping up. And they were letting me know that my computer was going to be not usable. Okay, so thank goodness I got some PC guys up not far from my house, and I called up there, and you know, before I rushed out and bought something brand new, I just wanted to know, you know, what was the best thing. And they said, well, we have a Windows 10 up here. I said, no, I really can't deal with that Windows 10 yet. And I've seen, you know, you've seen so many things. You can just go in there and hear people just criticize it and all that. And I'm just not tech savvy, people. I mean, I can just barely understand what little bit I can. He says, well, why don't we do this? We'll take the Windows 10 and we'll downgrade it to a 7, but we'll leave the Windows 10 option open, so if you ever want to, we'll just upgrade it back, you know, to a Windows 10. So I says, that sounds good. And he says the Windows 7 is pretty much like the Windows. I had old Vista. So they were really telling me to keep me calm and everything. They said, well, don't worry. It's pretty much, you won't notice that much difference. You know, you may have a few little things you have to learn different, but it will not be like a big jump from a Vista to a Windows 10 for a person who doesn't even understand how to get emails that I have. Look, that I have private emails. That I didn't even know I had private emails, people. Private messages. That's what I want to say, private messages. Anyway, So I said, okay. So I got that done. And lo and behold, I was doing telling all that to get to this. Lo and behold, this week my television went out. Well, I bought it from Best Buy too, and I called up the system. You know, you have a number that you can call, and they keep good records. And I told them my name and gave the television number. I said, oh, they pulled me right up. Oh, they said, oh yeah, we see that you bought this in 2009. And they said, well, unfortunately, we don't make this particular model anymore, so we can't. So they told me what was wrong with it, and they gave me a few steps, and I got one of my sons to help me to see if we can, like, reset it, you know, and something had got knocked off. And it worked for a while, but then it finally went, and they said, well, we just don't do that model anymore, and so really you can't get that part. So guess what? Jay had to go buy a new television too. But I don't get all the tchotchkes like my husband gets. I don't have time for that, people. I don't have time to sit and read a book that I don't understand. I just want to be able to click it on to CNN or Dancing with the Stars or Steve Harvey, or just, you know, How to Get Away with Murder, just my regular stuff I like to watch. So, no wonder. Then Jay came across this beautiful little, it says, life is beautiful. Uh-huh. Yes, it is. So I did all that to get to this beautiful little thing. I had it some time ago, but I forgot to show you. I was at Hobby Lobby one day, and I noticed that in my videos there was a screw hole. Maybe you may have probably not noticed, but I noticed because I'm always critiquing things when I watch my videos back. But I used to have something on that wall, and there was one of those toggle bolt screws that's right on the wall, right behind, just enough for you to see it when I'm taking pictures, or, you know, of my sweaters. So I needed something to cover this, and I saw this at Hobby Lobby. Life is beautiful. Uh-huh. And you just mount it, you know, so it was just perfect. See, it just slides right over the screw. And it's a very nice little porcelain end hook. And I just thought that was real pretty. So, now I'm getting back in the flow of things. Jay's back. You know, hey, look, I feel like I'm back. And so that was one thing I found at Hobby Lobby, just to show you that I did get out a little bit. Now, to what I need to get to. So, I was again at Hobby Lobby. And I have a lot of people. When I saw this pen, of course, this is the cancer pen, I remembered I had so many people, so many of my friends on YouTube say, Jay, well, do something in pink. I've got a friend, or I'm a cancer survivor, or I have a friend or family member, whatever. Do something for us along those lines. And I said I would, but I put it on my list, you know, because I didn't have anything in mind as a project yet. And then when I saw this pen, I said, oh, isn't that beautiful? Hobby Lobby, 40% off coupon. And I thought, you know, Jay, this would just be a good time. Just put your mind to it. Try to keep it simple. And, you know, just try. And then I thought, well, what would work? And so naturally I went on the YouTube, on the internet, just to remind me of different things that, you know, Cancer Society, you know, the kind of programs they have. And a lot of them, of course, are walks and runs for, you know, cancer survivors. And I thought, well, maybe I can just do something. So I knew I would need a shawl, and I didn't think of, you know, necessarily a scarf or a neck warmer. I thought, well, just do what you normally do. Do what you do, and I do sweaters. So I'm going to get things ready, and I'll show you what I came up with. I keep it simple. I started out with one sweater, and it was really pretty, but it was so complicated, even I got tired. So I took it all the way down, and I told my brain, just think of something sweet and simple, and think of just keeping life is beautiful. So let me show you what I came up with. Okay, Well, now here is a sweater that I was just trying to keep it in just a real simple form. And I noticed as I was watching other YouTube sites, a lot of people are into the oversized or these large sweaters. I forgot what they called them. Somebody had a name for them or something. Anyway, I said, well, that's nice, but I don't really want mine, that oversized, but something very simple to make and to put on. And I want it to have lace. I wanted it to be light. Now, this looks heavy, but it's really a nice light sweater, so it could be worn. It could be dressed up, of course, like it looks, and like you saw in the picture with the scarf, and I'll show you that. Or it could be dressed down and worn like over jeans or some leggings if you were doing a run or something like that. There would be no reason that you could not wear this sweater. And it kind of takes us back to when I started with the square type sweater. This one is kind of built around that, the square type, but on this one we will add stitches to add an accent of a sleeve, not just go straight up, but to actually add stitches on each side to create a small sleeve. And I just really did that for myself. You don't have to when we go into it. You can not do that, but I'm I'm older and I don't like to lift my arm. I like to have something. I don't want to show my armpits, so I just like to have a little hint of a sleeve. And then, of course, it has this beautiful neck, which is simply ribbing, 1x1 ribbing. And as you can see, it's all blinged up. And I'm going to, of course, tell you all the yarn. Is that pretty? But look at this lace. I just thought, well, I'll just put a panel of lace. And then, of course, I did come up with some other ideas, and I'll show you that a little later. Now, the back of the sweater, just for fun, I took some of the bling out. I just did the back in the matching solid pink, and then I only bling the bottom rib and the top ribbing of the sweater for the back. So there's the back. And it's boat neck. It's a boat neck style with a real pretty seam on the arm that shows how it comes together. So I think this will be something very simple, very easy to fit. It's not hugely oversized, but it's not a form fitting, and but you can still wear it. You don't have to wear anything special under it. It's very nice, very lightweight, and as I said, very lacy. So, what do you think of this? Jay's Knit Pretty in Pink sweater. Just for you. Now, I'll go over all the supplies and things we need and tell you where I got the pattern and tell you about the choices in making this sweater. Because I like for you to have choices now, especially the ones who have been working with me and who really kind of, you're getting now how to start thinking and just doing your own little thing. Nothing wrong with pattern, but sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you just want to knit something on your own and just knit it. Well, that's all we're doing. So, let me get everything set up, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Jay's Knit Pretty in Pink sweater just for you. Okay. Let's talk yarn. Let's talk about yarn and our supplies. This project is so sweet. I'm telling you, it's going to be such a sweet knit. And the yarn is just endless what you can use. You want a soft yarn. We're, of course, in spring, heading towards summer. So we want our yarns to be light and soft and light colors. Of course, you can do this sweater in a little heavier yarn. But I'm going to be talking about our lighter since that's the season that we're in. And remember, we're working out of our stash. I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I'm just picking yarn right and left, trying to work some of this yarn that I've got. Oh, gosh, I've overdone it. In fact, I hadn't even hardly been to Joann's. They probably think, oh, I hope she's not sick or something. So IJ or my friends, I just had to stop. Jay had to just stop herself from buying yarn. It has gotten, let's just say, real crazy. But anyway, so this is a stash busting sweater. It is so soft and nice. Just remember that, and you want it to drape. So let's just run through some yarns. Right off the bat, of course, a very nice yarn is Lions brand Heartland. Any color, if you're not a pink person, you know, I just did it in pink because that's the name of the video. You know, Jay's Knit, pretty in pink sweater. But now here's a beautiful, you know, they have this in all different colors. It's a beautiful blue. I think this is Fjord blue or something like that. I don't know what it is. Okay. But there's just that color. I'm just picking out of my stash. Of course, always, we can always use Karen yarn. It's a little smaller than maybe some of the others, but it is you could use it for this project and get a beautiful sweater. One real quick, Red Heart Soft. That's the brand. You have that in your stash. You can use that. See, these are yarns that I just normally buy. And like I said, I am working through my stash. I'm trying to stay away from the Vannas and the Impeccables and our winter weight more. You know, it's a little heavier. It doesn't drape as much. I'm trying the new yarn from Joann's Big Twist. All of that will be later. But this is just some that drapes pretty. And believe it or not, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. And of course they've got all kind of colors. This is pistachio. Just anything, any color, but even that will work. And in fact, the colors that I'm using for my sweater, that I use for my sweater, is one of the Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn. The back of the sweater, without any of the glitter, the solid color, the plain color, is simply called pink. That's all. I Love This yarn, pink. That's the base of the sweater. Then I added the glitter to the front, and all the ribbing of the sweater is done in I Love This yarn, and it's called Pinky Toes. And they are normally right near each other on the shelf at Hobby Lobby's. One has, let's see if I'm getting the glitter in there. One has a little sparkle, and the other one is just plain. So pink and Pinky Toes are the two yarns that I use for my sweater, because I am using the theme, you know, of the pink color that represent the cancer survivor theme. I bought 2 skeins of the Pinky Toes, the one with the glitter, and 1 skein of this plain pink, because I only did the back in this. So I only needed 1 skein. I had plenty left over, but I needed 2 skeins. I went ahead and just bought 2 skeins. The entire front is done in the glitter and all ribbing. So this is just an idea. You know, try to give, you know, like I said, you could just reach into your stash and just get so much. I mean, it's just hard to tell, you know, what you have, but the whole idea is we're working through our stash. I just happened to look over in my basket, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, look at that pretty Karen yellow. This is, oh, super duper yellow. I think I've used that before. But that just caught my eye a minute ago. So, and then one that I haven't used, I don't know why, I have some of her yarn. I don't pull it out very much. But this is Deborah Norville's Everyday Soft Worsted. And this would work beautiful. It's very soft. So that's another one you can reach into your stash. And you may tell me, you know, you may have to give me some suggestions of ones that I haven't pulled out. But I just had to grab up some just so that we could see the whole range of yarns that we can use. And like I say, if you've been with me for, let me go over the needles too. If you've been with me, you know I have a process. You know I have like 3 needle sizes that I like to work with. That's just me. You can work in smaller needles or different sizes, but you have to go through the process of finding your own numbers. Those that have been with me or really trying to get into this, we've been using the same numbers, right? Okay, so we're just going right into the next sweater. We're not going to have to swatch again right now or do anything unless we really change something into a yarn that's just drastically different in weight or you know. But for the most part, we can go right in and use our same numbers. If you've done any of the sweaters before, you can go, okay, I just need to pick a needle size that I want. All right, for my sweater, this is a relaxed sweater. Normally for my just simply over the head sweaters without any openings in the front, but more body shaping or closely fitting sweaters, I use a US number 8. And my number for my US number 8, my stitch count is 92. I've already worked that out. If you're new, you need to go back and just look at some of the videos. I have tutorials on how to size, how to find your numbers. You know, and I'll try to remember to add some of that, add that at the in the notes. But in my calculations, I'm just sharing. All right, the next size I use is a number 9 if I want a more relaxed fit. I don't want to be big and not fitting and making me look even bigger than I am. I just want a little more relaxed fit. So I take the number of stitches that I use on my number 8, which for me is 92, and I add 4 more stitches. And by the way, I round my numbers off so they're divisible by 4. Like I said, I can't review all the videos, so you'll have to go back and check if you are really new. But I think most people get it now. So this is my more relaxed fit, my number 9, or if I wanted to open it down the front like a little open front sweater. This is a sweater that will kind of hang over the shoulders. You know, most of my sweaters will, because I really don't deal with a lot of pieces. I don't do two right front, you know, 2 fronts and back and 2 arms, you know, 2 sleeves. I do my best to do it as much as possible in one piece and just picking up stitches. But for my loose fit, okay, not huge, not oversized, not sloppy looking, I use my number 9, and 4 stitches up would give me 96. So for this needle, I will be using, my stitch count is 96. It works for me. You've seen what I wear, and I'm hoping and believing you have tried this and that it's working for you. If you've done a sweater with me and the numbers didn't quite, maybe you felt the sweater was too large, all you have to do is go to your number, the stitch count, and go down 4 stitches. If you've rounded your number off, divisible by 4, you just go down 4 stitches. If you found your sweater was a little tight, you just go up 4 stitches. Now, if you don't have rounded off numbers, you just have to keep making swatches and hope that, you know, and see if you can get it as close as you can. Okay, and of course I have one more needle in my group of 3s, and that's my number 10. Well, we're not using that one, so I'm not going to worry about it. So for this sweater, I will be knitting for me. For my relaxed fit, I'm going to knit my sweater on a number 9. My number 8 will come into play as we finish up and we get to the top of the sweater. And I'm going to show you, you know, I just go down on needle size. Normally, I hope I said that word right. Usually when you are knitting a sweater, usually by a pattern, they always have you to start with a small needle at the bottom, at the ribbing on the bottom. Well, I find my ribbing at the bottom is beautiful and just fine. And like I say, when you're a larger size, or when you get into large, extra large, your plus sizes, you want that relaxed fit at the bottom. Then when I get towards the top, my gauge or my tension or my knitting has become so relaxed by the time you reach the top. It's just a lot looser. So I use my smaller needle at the top, and I'll show you how it looks and see if let you try it and see how it can make a difference to make the top of the sweater match the bottom easy, or that it will look and wear better. Does that make sense? That's a lot of little information. I wasn't even trying to throw all that in here. Anyway, that's what I'm using. Okay. Well, I'm just got stuff everywhere here tonight. Okay. Boom. All right, we're going back to 750 knit stitches, the Ultimate Knit Stitch Bible, because remember I said we're trying to work out our new books. I'll throw in some old ones as I get a chance, as we get into more projects. But since a lot of you have bought this book, I don't get nothing for it. I just like to tell you my honest opinion. It is just a wonderful book to have. And if you bought this book, congratulations. We're going to work out of it. Now, stitch I'm using. I'm trying to move along here. The stitch I'm going to use. Oh, mercy. When I first start working on this stitch, it just like, it's not that I wouldn't call it an advanced stitch, but it's one of those mind-boggling stitches that you really have to kind of pay attention to until you fall into the rhythm. And once you fall into the rhythm of it, then you go, oh, I got it. It's not as hard. But, when we probably started, there's going to be some of you going, Jay, there's something wrong with this pattern. I've started it 3 or 4 times. Something is wrong with this pattern. No, there's nothing wrong with the pattern. It's one of those mind twisters. That's what I want to say, a mind twister. But on page 147 in this book of knitting stitches, I found the lace lattice stitch. The lace lattice stitch, a multiple of 6 stitches plus 1, and there's only 8 rows. Or really 4 pattern rows, because 4 of the rows you purl. And that's the pattern that I will be using for this pink knit sweater. Okay, so there's my pattern. Here's where I got the pattern from, out of our new book. I don't want to have you buy something and then we don't use. No, it's really nice. So of course you need to make a black and white. I make my working copy because I'm going to be making a lot of notes, and I have all of that to work from. So I'll sit my book back, and then I'll have my black and white to work from. And then, of course, you'll need just your regular stuff. Hey, look, you're old enough now. You know what you need. You need some scissors, get some stitch markers, some simple stitch markers. I'm going to go through the calculations of my formula for me and maybe a smaller size, just to review, just to remind you. I always do that. I want you to always know how to figure it out and how to just feel comfortable doing it. Okay, I can't think of anything else. Okay, the yarn, the needles, the pattern. Well, I guess we just need to start working. We'll start with working out our formula on this beautiful, beautiful, pretty lace lattice stitch. Okay, see you back in just a minute. Okay, so let's get ready. We've gone over the pattern, and now we want to make our formula for our lace lattice stitch. And it's a multiple of 6 plus 1. So now to make our formula, and of course I'm going to use myself as an example. You need your little calculator, whatever. All right, let's go. Let's talk about what, how to set this up. I'm using a US, of course, number 9 circular needle. You could use a US number 8. Remember, if you rather have your sweater more, a more fitted sweater, then you could easily use a number 8 because the yarn actually calls for a number 8. But I've already gone through. I'm using a number 9 to get a little more relaxed fit. And it fits me really nice. Because I'm large, extra large. But if you're small, you might just like your sweaters to fit a little, be a little more fitting. All right, I'm using a number 9, US number 9. And for my US number 9, I already know my stitch count because I've already figured that out, video after video. And my number is divisible by 4. My number for my number 9 is 96 stitches. That's my base number. Now, the pattern is a multiple of 6 stitches, and at the end of the count, you add +1. Does that make sense? Just like we've done before. Okay, let's go through this. And I says, as soon as you write out this, then decide how many repeats of the pattern do you think you might like to do. And I'm going to do maybe 10 repeats of this pattern because I do have on the sweater, just really quick, this sweater, the lace is just, I put the lace right in the center. So there's plenty of stockinette stitches on each side. I didn't go from the actual side seam to side seam. I kind of put it right in the middle. And my sample I'm going to show you in just a minute, we're going to even do less than this. But we'll get to that in a minute. So I just wanted to remind you. So I want to do 6 repeats. 10 repeats. 6 times 10 equals 60 stitches. Add the +1. And now you have 61 stitches for your pattern. And I'll put it in a box to remind me where my pattern. Oh, I just touched my, oh gosh, I just got some pink on my, oh god. Okay, let's see if I can get that off. All right, stay on the paper, Jay. All right, so now the next thing to do is simply start subtracting from your base number. Okay, so I have 96 stitches. That's what we're talking about. And on this sweater, I know that I want a border. I want a 3-stitch border. I'm not going with the 4. I'm going to go with a 3-stitch. 3 stitches on each side. So 3 and 3 are 6. I'm going to put a B for border minus 6 stitches from my number. When you subtract that, that leaves you with, oh, am I looking at the wrong? Oh, here it is. 90 stitches. I'm going to say, where's my paper? Okay, 90 stitches. Okay. Well, what's the next thing we know that we can subtract? Well, we just figured our pattern. So P for pattern, and I now can subtract 61 stitches from this 90. And when I subtract 61 from 90, I get 29 stitches. Those are just leftover stitches that I can divide and put on each side of the pattern. Does that make sense? Well, 29 is odd. So if I just add 1, no secret, just add 1 to make it an even number. That's 30. 30 divided by 2. Now I can have 15 stitches on one side of the pattern and 15 stitches on the opposite side. Now I can write the formula just so that I can knit from it, so that I don't have to go back and look at all of this math. I can simply have, we know we have a border of 3 on this side. All right. We know that we can put 15 extra stitches right here. We know that our pattern goes in this block here. And now just repeat this on the opposite side. And if you add it all up, get my little calculator. If you add it up, let's see, 3 plus 15 plus 61 plus 15 plus 3 equals, oops, wait, 3 plus 15, oh, I keep doing it wrong, I'm sorry. Jay's not calculating right today. 3 plus 15 plus 61 plus 15 plus 3 equals 97 stitches. That's what I was trying to get to, people. 97 stitches to cast on for my size with my base number of 96 on a size 9 needle. I will cast on 97 stitches. Now, does that make sense? We're back. We've figured the formula. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. All right. I want to show you. Let me show you my sample. The one I'm going to work on in real time. That's the one I'm going to calculate next. Okay. But before we get started, I want to go over the sample that I'm going to be working and give you another choice in case you're not, maybe you're a person that really says, oh, I don't know if I can wear all that lace in front. My body doesn't look all that great in lace. Or I don't know if I want to, I'm still new and that's a lot of lace for me right now, doing a full sweater. So this is just a little quickie, a little alternative, another choice you can make that's very simple. Okay, to do it. You don't even have to write it out. I can just walk you through it. Here is a sample that I'm going to work in real time. And this person, just to save time, I have 88 stitches on the needle. I just cast on 88 and I'm saying that's her. Those were the numbers for this person. Probably a small size. 88 stitches. Okay. And this person says, well, Jay, I don't want to do all that lace, but I still want the lace in the front of my sweater. What can I do? Well, we can just offset one panel, several panels of the lace and put it off to one side and knit the sweater in the following the directions and still come out with a beautiful sweater at the end. So all you have to do is, like you say, you cast on your number of stitches because you have a number, right? And this particular sample, this person, we're saying it's 88. All right, now, from 88, of course, I'm going to stick with my 3-stitch border on this side and this side. So you go ahead and mark those, and you'll take away 3 stitches from 88, right? 3 on this side, 3 on this side. That makes 6. Excuse me, take away 6 stitches from 88. All right, and that's going to leave you 82 stitches. Leave this person 82. Now, I just need you to count your stitches and find the center point of those stitches between the 2 end borders. And go ahead and mark it. Put your little marker there, and you'll know that's the center point. Now, all you have to do is decide. And I like to have numbers already in my head so I don't have to sit there and go, well, now what should I do? All right, for small, I suggest maybe going 8 stitches past center. Here's the center, so I'd count over 2, 4, 6, 8. Put a marker. I'm going to start my pattern. Now, if you are a little larger like me, I might go 10 stitches past center. Or extra large, or extra large, you may go 12 or 14. So you just keep going up by 2, just ever so slightly past the center point. Or you can have it on this side and you'll be counting backwards from the center point. You'll be counting back this way and putting your mark. Now, how many repeats do you want in your pattern? You don't have a lot of room, so you just want to keep it small. I'm doing 3 repeats of this pattern. This is a multiple of 6 plus 1. 3 times 6 is 18. Add that plus 1. All I have to do is have 19 stitches for my little lace pattern. Put a marker. Everything else is just knitted across. So I just simply knit up to my marker, do my pattern, knit off. And I will get this beautiful lace up one side of my sweater without even sweating it. So that's a choice you can have too. So let's get started. We're going to knit through. We're going to start, first I'm going to walk you through the back just so you'll have it. Then we'll start on the front, and this is the one I'll be working in real time and doing my actual knitting on. So let me get the real sample and then we'll get started. Okay, let's do a quick run through of the back of the sweater so that we can really focus on the front where the lace. The back is simply plain in stockinette. I just wanted to give you a little break so that we can concentrate on the lace and put all your efforts there. All right, first thing, you're going to cast on your stitches, and you're going to start, we're starting at the very back bottom ribbing, and I started with the glitter with I Love This Yarn, and it's called the Pinky Toe, the one with the sparkle. So I cast all my stitches with that color, and on my ribbing, make sure you know that on that first and last stitch, either you slip it or you knit. I knit the first and last stitch, but you can do whatever you want, and then go right in. To me, I am on the wrong side, so I knit that first stitch, and then I go right into purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and continue across to the last 2 stitches, and then you should end with a purl 1, and then knit or slip the last stitch so that we'll have something to make a nice seam. Alright, so now you will do your ribbing for as many rows or inches as you like. I normally do like 1.5 inches or 8 or 9 rows to put me back on the right side, and then I simply start stockinette. My stockinette, of course, that's simply knit on the front, purl on the back side. Now, and when you do, I almost forgot to, after I finish my ribbing, then I pick up my regular pink without the sparkles. I did the back in just the plain color. You can do it you can do sparkles all the way if you want to. I bought 1 skein of this because you get quite a bit. You get 355 yards, and so 1 skein of the plain pink is just fine. You're going to have some left. But I made sure to get 2 skeins. They don't give you as much on this sparkly type yarn. There's 252 yards, so I bought 2 skeins of the yarn with the silver flecks in it, called Pinky Toes. Alright, so the ribbons and Pinky Toes and the sparkles, then I switch for my stockinette into the plain pink. Alright, now you're going to work up in stockinette to the length that you want to your underarm space. For mine, I did my stockinette up till about 11 inches, a little shy of 11 inches. And as I drew near the 11 inches, I stopped on a right side row because we're going to add stitches. You're going to add stitches to create this hint of a sleeve. It's not much of a sleeve, but just this much. I just didn't like having my armpits out. So there's enough here. We just pick up a few stitches and then create a new border for our sleeve and continue on up on our arm space. Now, on the arms, after you go up, my arm space normally would be about 9 inches, but you know on my sweaters, since I really don't do set-in sleeves, all of my sweaters fall over the shoulder cap. They hang over, in other words. So you can take at least 1 inch off of your normal measurement. So for me, I normally would say if I was going up to all the way up to the shoulder, like for a shoulder cap, I would do 9 inches. But I stop at 8 inches. You don't need quite as many because you're not going up. You're coming, you're here. Okay, so I'm knitting along in stockinette. I've added the stitches, and of course we'll do all that in the front. And as I see that I'm coming close to about 8 inches, maybe I'm about 1.5 inches or 2 inches shy of my 8 inches, just a little bit. Then I'm going to switch back to my glitter, my yarn with the little glitter, the Pinky Toes, to do my 1-by-1 ribbing at the top. And this will be also the place where we will change our needles. I started with my number 9s and I worked my whole sweater. Most sweaters do just the reverse, but when you are, when you're, a little larger in size, it's nice to have this not pull so bad, the bottom, to have the bottom more relaxed. So, but the top, I wanted to, by the time you get to the top, your stitches are so, your tension is so loose, it looks big and maybe not as neat. So this is where I switched to a number 8 circular needle to do the 1-by ribbing across the top and bind off the neck. Now, I know that's a lot real quick, but I want to spend my time on the front. So, we have a formula. You will be, I'm going to, as we start on the front, we're going to work row by row of the pattern of the lace. We will be working, of course, from your formula that we've worked out and put in the lace. So it, I think everything that we've done up to now, you should be familiar with. You should be like, okay, yeah. That's why I wanted to get the back out of the way, because it's very simple and very plain, except for the glitter at the top and at the bottom. All right, so let me move this, and then we will proceed to the front where we're going to spend our time, and I'm going to knit every row and read the pattern out to you. And I think you're going to like it. Okay, see you in just a minute. Okay, now to get to the front, just to go over, just for my original sweater, I simply cast on. We have a formula to set up by, so I've cast on my stitches, and I've done my ribbing, and of course, just like the back, I did my ribbing for the same amount of inches or however many rows that you want it to do. This is all in the pinky toes with the glitter. Okay, so I don't have to change the yarns anymore. This is with my number 9. All right, and my formula for my extra large size, my larger extra large, my formula reads like this. I have 3 stitch, well, first of all, once you finish your ribbing, you remember I always, and sometimes I forget to say it because I'm so used to doing it, I knit 1 row and then I purl back where possible, or, unless it's just going to interfere with what I'm, the pattern or something. But just to give myself a little clearance for the pattern to not just be down right up on the ribbing, I finish the ribbing and I'm on the right side, so I knit across and then I purl back. Now I'm on the right side again. Now I'm ready to follow my formula and set in my stitch markers. And I have knit 3, which is a border. I put a marker. And on my formula, then I have 15 filler stitches here. Then I put a marker. I am doing 10 repeats of this lace pattern on my front. And that comes out to 61 stitches. I will do the lace. And when I end, I will put a marker. Okay, then I will finish knitting the filler stitches and end with a 3-stitch border, and that's what we're going to start on the front and work our way up to our arm space. All right, so real quick, whoops. Okay, now here's my little sample on this one. Remember, this is the one where I offset the lace just so I wouldn't have to, so I can get it done so we'll have plenty of time to work. So on my little offset lace, remember, I found the center. Well, we've already covered all that, so I got to stop repeating so much. Okay, so I've knitted past center. There's my center mark, and I've gone over it. I've knitted past center, and I'm coming up. I'm on the right side, and I'm coming up to my pattern. Row 1, and this pattern is the lace lattice stitch pattern. Lace lattice stitch pattern. It is a multiple of 6 plus 1 stitches. All right, and I am on this sample, I am repeating the pattern 3 times. So I have 19 stitches for my pattern. All right, row 1 reads, and it's the right side, knit 1, yarn over, purl 1, purl 3 together, purl 1, yarn over, knit 1, and repeat to the end. All right, let's see how it looks. I'm going to slide my mark. I'm up to my lace here. So I'm simply going to knit 1. Now, pull up a little yarn. All right, there, like I said, this one is kind of a mind twister a little bit, so you have to kind of really pay attention until you get the rhythm. Once you get the rhythm, you will be fine. All right, I knit 1. Now yarn over, just like that. But now I need to purl 1. So that means I have to go back around to get into the purl position. Now, I purl 1. I purl 3 stitches together. See those 3? I purl those together. I purl 1. I yarn over, which is right there. That's the yarn over position. And then I knit that stitch with the yarn already in the yarn over position. So I simply knit, and that's it. Now I'm going to check my camera and see if I need to pull up. Oh, I do. I definitely need to pull up. I'm going to just pull it up a little bit. See how that looks. Okay, sorry about that. All right, but we got another. Okay, so now that's 1 repeat of the pattern. All right, let's go again. Okay, now the repeat is yarn over, but I need to be in the purl position because the next stitch is a purl 1. So I have to go around again. Now I'm going to purl 1. I reach and purl 3 stitches together. Purl 1 again. Okay, now it says yarn over, knit 1. Well, I'm already in the yarn over position right there. You see it? So I simply go here and knit 1. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the last repeat is yarn over. Now I have to get in the purl position, so I have to yarn over again. Now I purl 1, reach down and purl 3 stitches together, just like this. Okay. Then I purl 1 more stitch. And the last thing I do is yarn over, knit 1. I'm in the yarn over position already. All I have to do is needle in and knit that last stitch. That is row 1 of this lacy lattice stitch. Now I can just slide my marker and knit on to the next border. Just knit on across. Alright, does that make sense? Row 2, in every wrong side row, we simply purl. We purl all the stitches except the border. Those 3 stitches on each that represent each border. So, every wrong side row, we will simply purl. Alright, now that is row 1. Row 3, I will see you back at row 3, which will be on the right side. Okay, so now we're up to row 3. I'm working my way up to row 3 of our pattern. I slide the marker, and row 3 reads, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and repeat to the end, ending with knit 2. So let's see how that looks. Seems like there's a lot of yarn overs. So knit 2 stitches. Okay. Now we have a yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over. Now knit the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and repeat. And the repeat is knit 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. All right, now yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 stitches together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, and knit the last 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And of course slide the marker and knit to the end of the row. Just like that. Okay. Oops. That's row 3 of our pattern. Now, of course, row 4 will purl. I will see you back at row 5. Watch your yarn overs. Okay, we're up to row 5. And if I was going to say the hardest row, I believe, would be row 5, the one we're going to do now. So I've worked my way up. It's looking really pretty. Hold it up. Can you see through the lace? Isn't it pretty? Well, once you get enough, enough rows. Okay, so row 5 reads, purl 2 together, purl 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, purl 1, purl 3 together, purl 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, purl 1, and repeat to the end, and you will end with purl 2 together. Wow, that was a mouthful and a lot of yarn overs. So, but it's a really pretty row, but it is kind of a mind twister. So I'm gonna just, I hope I pulled it up close enough for you to see. I'm gonna take my time. Like I said, once you get in the rhythm, I don't have a rhythm here because it's short. But on my long one, you have plenty of time to get into the rhythm. Okay, let's go. First thing it says is to purl 2 together. So I need to move my yarn in front, and I go ahead and I purl 2 stitches, just like that. Now purl 1, so I purl the next stitch. Now yarn over. All right, yarn over and knit 1. I'm already in the yarn over position to knit another stitch. So I simply, and I want you to start really, on this row particularly, start looking where the stitches fall. Here's where the yarn over, knit 1 stitch falls, right there. So yarn over, now knit 1. Okay, now I need to yarn over and purl 1. So I need to yarn over. Now I got to get back in the purl position, so I yarn over again and purl 1. And then I purl 3 together. And then I will purl 1 again. So that's the sequence of this. You'll have a purl 1, purl 3 together, purl 1. Then it will be followed up by a yarn over, knit 1. See where it falls? Right there. Yarn over, you're already in that position, knit 1. Now, this is where you have to pay attention. After the knit 1, it's going to be yarn over. Now I need to purl 1, so I have to go around again to get into the purl position, which is that stitch there. Purl 1, and that's followed by purl 3 together. Just like that. You see that? And then purl 1 again. And then, here we go. Yarn over, knit 1. Okay. Got it? Then yarn over, But now I need to get into the purl position again, so I need to go around again. Purl 1, and I will end this row with purl 2 stitches, the last 2 together. Now, if you're going to make a mistake, you're going to make it right here. Little tip from Jay. We're in a rhythm and you're so excited to get done, then you're gonna knit across. But if you don't put the yarn in the back, you will have a yarn over and an extra stitch. So as soon as you purl those 2 stitches together, the yarn goes in the back, slide the marker, now you knit to the end of the row. If you're gonna make a mistake, it's gonna be right there. Because you'll, like I said, these are short rows that I'm doing here just to demonstrate. But once you start yours and you have long rows, and there is a rhythm, I can't get into the rhythm because it's so short, but once the rhythm, you get into it, if you don't remember right here to put the yarn in back, then you will have an extra yarn over. Alright, you will knit to the end. That is the end of row 5. Look how quick it goes. You know. Okay, so, of course, row 6 is a purl row. I will see you back at the last pattern row, which is row 7. So, be careful, take your time, put the screen on pause, look at row 5, and read it and go step by step, and remember when it's time to go to yarn over twice, or go around a second time. That's where you have to. That's a little mind bender. Okay, see you back for row 7. Okay, so hopefully you're up to row 7 and you've just felt like, oh man, I did it. I'm up to row 7. I have a beautiful lace, whether it's across the whole front or if you're just doing the off-center lace. So you can kind of look at it, and if you have the sparkle, isn't it pretty? Okay, so let's go to row 7. Make sure I'm on camera here. Let me just check. Okay. All right. I'm going to knit this stitch. Give me a little yarn here. Now, I'm row 7. I'll slide my marker. And row 7 reads, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, and repeat to the end. And you're going to end this row with slip 1, knit just 1, pass the slip stitch over. So row 7, here we go. We're going to knit 2 stitches together. Okay, now yarn over, and you can see the next 3 stitches I'm going to knit. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now yarn over and repeat, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3, yarn over, there's 2 stitches left, slip 1, knit 1, reach and pass the slip stitch over, and voila, row 7 is done. So I knit off, knit to the end, okay. All right, now that leaves us with row 8, which of course is the purl row, and you have completed 1 full repeat of the pattern, rows 1 through 8, to get this pretty lace. Okay, now from this point, you simply stay in pattern and continue to knit your lace, your pattern, and we're going to knit up to however many, like up to your arm space, however many inches you work for your back piece. I did 11, so as I'm going to knit this one in real time, as I get, of course I'm not going to do the whole 11, I'm going to stop, but we're going to pretend. But as I get towards closer to 11 inches, close to my arm, underarm, I will stop and be on the right side, on a right side row, on the front of my sweater, so that we can add the extra stitches for the sleeve. So now you have some work to do. You will continue in pattern, however many inches it takes to get up to your underarm, and just be ready by being on a right side row, and I will join you back then. Have fun, but look how pretty. Take care. Okay, so now here on my sample, I've worked a few more of the pattern repeat just to have enough. Of course, this is just my sample, so we got to pretend now. Okay, I'm pretending I've knit up to my 11 inches or a little shy of 11 inches to start my underarm, my arm space. And yours will be whatever number, whether it's 10 or whatever number it is, however many inches. And I just finished row 8, which was a purl row. Now I'm on the right side, and mine worked out that I am on row 1 again of the lace. But whatever row, it doesn't matter for what we're going to do now. Whatever row you're on, that's just the row you're on. Okay, so, all right, like I said, this is pretend, so I pretended like I'm ready now for my arm space. And I wanted to make just a little hint of a sleeve because, like I say, I didn't want to be able to lift my arm, and I don't want my arm under my arms. I just don't want that to be seen. So what we're going to do is simply add stitches on this end and then work across in pattern to the opposite end and add the same amount. And I'm not going to add very many stitches. Now, like I said, I'm very short and, so I'm really going to add, you see I have this 3-stitch border right here that stops my sweater. Well, I'm going to add 3 more on here and then start a new border. And so I'm really going to add 6 stitches. Okay. Because I'm, like I said, I'm not trying to make a long sleeve or anything. I just want a little hint of a sleeve. But you can add however many stitches you want. You can add 4, you can add 6, you can add 8. If you want it a little longer, you could add 10, but just go up like maybe in 2-stitch increments. You don't want to get too long. You'll be surprised how few stitches it takes. Okay, so in order to do that, all I'm going to do, I'm on the right side and I'm ready. I just finished the purl side. Now I've decided I want to start my sleeve here. All right, after I go in here like I'm going to knit, yarn over, and I'm going to knit this stitch on. I'm simply going to yarn over, now turn and put the new loop, the new stitch right there from the right hand needle. I slide it to the left hand needle. So that's 1 stitch made. All right, that's 1. Again, that's 2. This is 3. I put it on the needle. Now, I should have 2, 4, 6 stitches. Now I need to make 3 more stitches to make my new sleeve edge border. So here we go, 3 more stitches. That's 1. Oops, let's see. Here is 2. And 1 more makes 3. Okay, And like I say, you can put on however many stitches, but you need to add the 3-stitch border at the end, your new 3-stitch border, because this border will now stop. So now, look at that. We have a few stitches, and just that few will make a nice sleeve. So I'm on the right side, working over to my pattern. I will stay in pattern, so I'm simply going to knit 1, 2, and 3. This is my new border, and let's see if Jay wasn't ready. And if I can find a stitch marker. Yes, I can. I should have been ready though. Okay, there's my new stitch marker for my new border. Now I can just knit all the way across to my pattern, and mine just happened, I just stopped mine on, so I'd be on row 1. But whatever row you're on, you just continue across. So now look, I get to the old marker, the old that was part of the sweater here, the edge. I lay that marker down, and I continue to knit across. Let me turn it on this side so you can see. Okay, so now you see, maybe I'll knit a few more just so I can lay it out a little bit. I'm just knitting across to get to my pattern, and then I'll go right back into pattern. Alright, but you can see the extra stitches I've already put on. Now, let's work across this row. I will see you back on the other end to show you how I put my other stitches on. Okay. Okay, so I'm at the opposite end, and as you can see, I'm coming up to the edge. And like I say, I'm no expert or anything. Like I said, if something works, then and it works well, I just try it. So I think before I would finish this row, and then on the purl side you can add stitches. But then one day I just did this and it worked, so I'm just going to share with you what I do. Alright, so I'm coming up to the opposite end, and I need to add the same amount of stitches. This was my original border right there, so I can just drop that marker like I just did, and I can go ahead and knit those 3 stitches because they will no longer be a border. Now when I get to the last stitch, okay, alright, I just simply knit into the front and into the back of that stitch, and that's 1 stitch added. Okay, I go into the last stitch again, I knit into the front, knit into the back, 2 stitches. Alright, into the last stitch, knit into the, go into the front, knit into the back, that's 3. Okay, I need a new 3 more. I knit into the front, I knit into the back, alright, 2 more, knit into the front, I knit into the back of that last stitch, 1 more. I knit into the front, I knit into the back. Now make sure I have all the stitches. Here's the original 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now all my stitches are on the right side row, and they were all knitted on. Now for me it's a lot easier. Now when I turn my work, I can purl all the stitches back. So first thing I want to do, of course, these first 3 stitches, they're my new border, so I do have to knit these stitches. So I knit 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now bring the yarn in front. I need to place my new marker. Now I will purl all the way across, all the way to the other side. We're on the purl side, so all we have to do is go all the way to the last border. Okay, I'll see you back at the other end. Okay, as you can see, I just knitted a few more rows. I worked a few more rows in the pattern just so that you can see before I switch to the real sweater. And as you can see now, there are extra stitches on this side. Let's see if my camera's picking it up. Yeah. Bring it down a little bit. So now you can see that we have extra stitches on this side to start our sleeve. And there are the 3 border stitches, and I have a marker. And of course, then you go across and you work the pattern as usual. You continue in pattern until you get to this side, and again you can see where the new sleeve, where the old border stops, and the new sleeves are starting. Ain't that pretty? Now, oops, sorry, I hit the camera. Okay, just so that we can see where we are, I'll just get one side of the sweater here. All right. See if this is on camera, right? Yeah? Oh, that's good. Okay, so if you can see, and of course from that point on we start knitting the sleeve. We're incorporating the sleeve here as we knit the pattern back and forth. And now you'll knit your arm space to the length or the number of inches. And like I said, since we really don't, this sleeve comes over the shoulder cap, so really you can have less stitches. So if you normally would knit this all the way up to the shoulders, and maybe you had 10 inches, well, you can drop back down and make around 9 inches. I normally go up to 9 inches, so I drop mine always back down to 8 inches. So I'm knitting along. Now I have this pretty nice new border for my sleeve. You see that? So when I'm done, I don't have to pick up any stitches if I don't want to. Alright, so I'm knitting along, and as I get close to my 8 inches, say about 1.5 inches, or, you know, around that much, you know, as I see I'm getting maybe 2 inches close to my 8 inches, this is when you will stop. You will get your US number 8 circular needle so that we can take the gauge of this ribbing down, because you will notice now your tension. And I think most people do it unless you're just a real tight knitter. By the time you get to this end, your stitches are very loose, at least for me. So I go down to my number 8. So I work up to where I want to stop. I stay in pattern with my 3-stitch border. And then I start working on my number 8 circular needle as I start the ribbing. And I hope I can't remember from when I started. You know, after we figured out how many stitches you need on your needle, you know, I always add that 1 stitch. It's just something I do, and sometimes I might forget to say it, but you know, for your 1x1 ribbon, you need an odd number. So you can sit and count, or just go ahead and start working it. And if you don't have an odd number, just make an extra stitch as you get near the other end. You know, but hopefully you have an odd number. Alright, so you just start out with a knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. That's after your 3-stitch border, and you work across to however many inches that you'd like. If you can have it the same as the bottom. I went maybe a little bit, I think I went a couple of inches, a couple of rows more than I did my bottom. If I had 8 on the bottom, I may have had 10 rows on the top. Well, you know, I'm older, and when I put on my sweater and I have to bend forward, I don't want my I don't want my lady bits showing. So I just went up a couple of rows, but that's just up to you. You know, you young people, y'all wear whatever you want to wear. Okay, now, because I want to get this in here. Now we have a front and a back. Voila. Now let me tell you how we're going to seam this. Normally when we seam so that the seam is completely closed in like this. But on this one, the way I like to seam so that I have this really pretty little track of stitches here, and it goes along the neck edge and over here. Of course, you're gonna turn it, I do mine on the wrong side for this, so I guess I need to turn it over. You need to be on the wrong side to stitch this one. Normally we stitch from the right side, but on this one I stitch from the wrong side. And let me make sure I'm on camera. It's hard to tell where I am. Yep. And I simply go through and with my yarn needle and some yarn, of course, and I'm just going to pick up a stitch from one side then the other. One side, but I do not go all the way through like I would normally do, because I want to leave this little track on each side so that it forms, see that track of stitches? It just makes the sweater look pretty, this particular style sweater. So I pick up one, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then, like I said, leave a long tail because you don't want to tie anything off because you have to go to the other side. Now, of course, you young people can make yours to hang all off the shoulder, and, you know, you can decide, you know, you wear those little halter tops under it or something real cute, you know, whatever you wear. So when you're sewing, you're going to leave two long tails, one on this side and one on this side. You just sew it up, leave your tails, then go to the other side, and you're going to do exactly the same thing on the wrong side. See how nice the seam looks? See? But it leaves a track on the front. And see how pretty that looks? With that little track. And you can add some buttons, or, you know, if you one of those people that like to add more things to yours, of course, because you have this track, this little space, and you can always add some buttons. I don't have any pretty buttons right here to kind of put in there, but you get the gist. You get the... But otherwise, and of course, then you're just done. Everything is done. Like I said, since this is acrylic yarn, and that's mainly what I use, I really don't deal a lot with wool yarn. I mean, I just don't like the feel of wool. I just something, I don't think I'm allergic. It's just something, it just feels, you know. But anyway, so there's not a lot of blocking or anything to do this. I usually, just so you'll know, I always do my steaming on the wrong side. I will turn my sweater over, and I will lightly put a little press cloth over and lightly steam. Only like places like seams. I never steam my lace or my ribbing or anything like that. Only places where there's stockinette, and of course the back, because it's a large piece of stockinette. I would like on the wrong side. I would steam it lightly. Never put the iron down on it because this is acrylic yarn. And voila, you're ready to wear your sweater. You're ready to look pretty. You're ready to go for to join your friends on a walk with this beautiful sweater. Don't forget to add your pretty pin. Hobby Lobby, 40% off with your coupon. I think it was $7 or $8. So you see, I saved quite a bit. And you're going to be all glittered up with your new walking sweater. And you're just going to look pretty in pink. Well, what do you think of this one? Simple but very cute, kind of boxy. Oh, that was the name I was looking for. I was hearing all my other friends on YouTube. They're saying they're making boxy sweaters. I thought, oh well, Jay's got plenty of boxy sweaters. So here's a pretty in pink, and it's nice and boxy. So, but yeah, it's a very pretty knit. It's very simple. I use very simple yarn so that you can enjoy it and work with it. I gave you a second option if you don't like the full lace across the front. You remember my sample? I had the lace, and of course it's all on the video. Just go past center and put how many repeats, as long as you have, you know, as long as there's room. And this sweater would work its way all the way up to the top. I'll kind of lay it here so you can kind of see how it would look. You see, it would just work its way up, but it would have more stockinette. And then when you get to the top, it would be exactly the same. But you just have lace on one side, and then everything else would be the same. Does that make sense? Well, like I said, I started with my little sign, life is beautiful. And you know what? It is. You're here, I'm here, and we're We're working and we're getting things done. We're enjoying each other's company. I hope you're working and using up your stash. That's what I'm all about. I'm trying to, like I said, there's nothing wrong with people that love to work swatches. I just love to work projects. And as long as we've got a stash, I don't know about you, but I'm looking around at my stash. We've got a lot more work to do. So, this is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. I know you're going to look pretty in pink. And congratulations. And life is beautiful to all the cancer survivors. Well, until we meet again. See ya.